Well, folks, it's Blue Lives Matter. I'm down at the corner of West Travis and North Medina. I'm out here by parking meter 303. It's after the time that I have to pay for this parking meter, but I can legally park here. What's interesting, though, is that no parking anytime past this area, past this sign, which I'm clearly in front of. And this VIA bus driver is fucking pissed that I walked up and documented that. He flips me the bird, and then when I walked in front of his vehicle to record the license plate, he's like, move or I'll run you over. I'm like, you ain't running nobody over. So being the dick I am, I was parked a little bit further down the street. I decided to screw you. I'm going to come right up here and park right where I'm legally allowed to park. If you don't like it, too bad. So I start to park, and he starts honking at me and saying, I'll run you over if you don't move. You ain't running nobody over, dude. Go ahead and call the police. I told him that. Been waiting for the police to get here. They're not going to show up. This is typical bullshit that happens out here all the time. VIA has known for a long time that their drivers use these no parking anytime zones. They used to be because of this was a commercial business. They own the business, but it doesn't change the fact that the city still has up no parking signs there. They choose to do that. They get out of their bus, they go over here, they use the restroom, they come back, unlawfully parking their vehicle. At this point, he's only standing. But again, when he decides to start flipping me off for recording that, that's his problem. And it goes to show you the level of immaturity of VIA employees. And I'm like, dude, if you want to push the issue, we'll push it. Legally, I'm on solid ground. I can park where I'm parked at. You cannot be parked where you're parked at. Bus driver in 536 1549140. Again, his little threats or whatever, and he kept, giving hand gestures through the window. And I told him, I said, if you want to talk, you can come outside and put it on recording. So I'm not going anywhere. Here comes security. Great. T160 is showing up in the parking lot now because, they're like, oh, okay, someone come over here. They should have dispatched a police officer, and it should have been a San Antonio police officer because this is the same corner that a VIA police officer was right down here in their parking lot when I reported an assault that occurred right here at this corner. And he said, that's SAPD, not our problem. I'm going to drive around the corner instead. And he drove off. So again, transit police come out here. They're peace officers. They can do what they want to do. But because they're peace officers. But they choose not to handle assaults or violent crimes. Then they'll say, oh, well, it's not our issue either. How you doing?
How's it going, Mr. Reese?
I'm doing good. I recognize you. I don't know your name.
Officer Rawlings.
Rawlings?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I recognize you. Your driver here?
Huh?
He called you down here, obviously.
What's going on?
I don't know.
You don't mind me asking?
You tell me what's going on with your driver. He's parked where he's not supposed to park. I simply walked by and filmed it.
You mind if I look?
Oh, no. Go ahead. I'll walk around with you. Officer Rawlings, you see the no parking anytime sign? He's parked where he's not supposed to park. They do this all the time. Okay, standing. We'll give him that. They get out of their vehicle, whatever. I'm parked where I'm allowed to park. It is posted. I've told him this multiple times. He threatened to run me over. That's a crime. I'm not committing a crime. He is. I'm going to back off because I'm getting upset. Nothing to do with you. But that driver is out of line. So, Officer Rawlings is talking to the driver, or he's doing his report, but again, it's a posted sign. The driver is unlawfully parked, but again, for that driver to threaten me with physical harm is outrageous. They may not like what I do, but I do it for a reason.
Mr. Reese, I'm gonna go. my supervisor.
Okay.
I'm gonna see if I can get one of their supervisors.
Okay, before you go, Officer Rollins, they called you out here. Am I committing any crime that they needed to call you out here for?
You have every right to film.
I have every right to film, and I had every right to park where I'm legally parked right now.
You're not in a no parking zone.
I'm not. That guy right there threatened to hit my car with his bus.
Okay.
That's a crime. There's an
I'll take it
issue.
up with them, okay?
Thank you. Real funny now, aren't you? Ha 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 ha. Here's the middle finger to you, buddy. Right there. Bus driver in 536. You're the criminal, not me. So again, bus driver in 536 called the police on me for being legally parked because it's a inconvenience for him when he is unlawfully parked right there, and the sign says it, and the officer documented it and called it in. And again, this dirty fucking bus driver threatening to hit me with his bus for filming in public is a disgrace to VIA. He needs to be fired. He's upset that I would film in public and document his vehicle or license and the registration tag because he's violating the law after he threatens me with violence. And when I park my vehicle up here, threatens to hit me with this vehicle. Oh, you're darn straight. I'm like, I'm not calling the cops. I don't have any reason to. You call the cops. They're right there. So the cops came out. Transit police is right up there. Worst case, they could try to say I'm being disorderly. I'm angry. I have a right to be angry. This is not disorderly conduct. I have a legal and lawful right to redress my government, and especially when I'm out filming in public, when they threaten you or imply that they're going to do something, just like I said, oh, we'll call the cops on you. Call the cops on me. I'm glad it's Officer Rawlings who showed up because he's a reasonable police officer and he knows I'm not violating the law. I'm lawfully parked here. I've not done anything wrong. And again, when they play this game, I have an issue when they start playing this game. It's the same with why I flipped off the dirty VIA security guard who gave me a dirty look for coming over here. They may not like what I do, but it's not illegal for me to do it. And again, when they step across the line and they violate the laws, nothing happens to them. Thank you, sir. And if you'll just be kind enough to tell him that his threat to use his bus, I mean,
Okay.
I know nothing.
There's two sides every story. I heard
There
you
is.
Let me hear it.
I hear you. Absolutely nothing he can say that's unlawful about me being where I'm parked. He doesn't like the fact that he's parked unlawfully and I'm not. Yeah, I did. There go your two dirty, not only one of those. The other guy I know, he changed his way. Officer Abbott has been excellent since the one bad, well, two bad times I take him. There were two, but he's been excellent and polite ever since then. The other officer was out there giving me a dirty look and being rude. And again, I'm on public property. I have a right to be here. I had a right to be where I was on that public property. VIA chose to arrest me for being on a public sidewalk. They will lose that in court, but it won't matter. I have to deal with that in court. I'm not going to deal with this guy's in court. So I'll listen. So what's his allegation? What's the reason he called you guys out here?
So he's stating that because where you parked, if he needs to leave, he's gonna hit your car.
Okay.
But then I told him, I said, well, that's not the issue right now. The issue is one, where he parked. Two, he doesn't know if you threatened him directly or the vehicle. So I'm getting his supervisor to come.
Okay,
take location.
but you heard him say, or he told you he threatened to hit my car, or said, "I'll hit your car if you don't move it."
Well, he said that if he has to leave, it doesn't know how close you park. He's gonna hit your vehicle.
Well,
we don't want that.
Okay, that I understand. He's not going to phrase it to you like he phrased it to me.
Correct.
And what he phrased, I pulled my car up there. I walked by and I filmed him, and I filmed the sign. And he said, because I walked in front of the bus to film the registration and the license plate. I turn these into the board. Nothing ever happens. I think you understand that. I know nothing happens, but I report it and report it and report it, just like in the fire zone. For 4 months, I report it, show them it's not a one-time thing. Look, that sign just needs to be removed by the city. But the fact is, I can't park there, so why can the bus park there? And so
I see where you're coming from.
when they do it, and I say, hey, if you guys don't think the sign needs to be there anymore, get the city to remove the sign. But don't come out here and tell me I have to move my car. In the daytime, I've done this before, and I paid for the parking. And the bus drivers tell me, we'll hit your car, we'll have you towed. And I'm going, do what you need to do. I'm not violating the law. You are. And they get upset. I understand that. He says he can't move. He can back up and go around me. He doesn't want to do that. But again, it's his point is, we do this all the time. I'm not doing anything wrong. He doesn't understand why I'm doing what I do, so he takes offense that I film it. But at the point where he threatens to hit me with his bus, that's a crime. Okay? That is a crime. And when I say I don't deal with that. I go out of my way to not break the law. I do. And occasionally, there's misunderstandings or whatever else, and I'm like, okay, reasonable people work with it. But when he's sitting there going, I'm going to have you arrested, I'm going to hit you, okay, maybe he's going to hit me, maybe he's going to hit my car. However he phrases it does not matter. His point is invalid. He should have never been parked there, and if he doesn't like where I'm parked, he can wait until the parking meter turns on at 8 a.m., and then they can tow my car if I didn't pay it. But at 8 a.m., I guarantee you I'll have that parking meter paid. And again, if I go around to parking meters and pay 50 cents just to make a point, you understand, I'm kind of being a dick. But the reason I'm being a dick is because this driver is clearly sitting in a no parking zone and he does not care.
Just give me 1 second.
Okay. Okay, I appreciate that. Howdy, thanks for tuning in, guys. Out at Via, typical Via driver again, threatened to hit me with his bus, then changed his story to the police officer and said, oh, I told him if he didn't move his car, I might hit his car on my way out. And again, it doesn't matter. I'm legally parked. He is not. He can back up if he wants. I'm not going to move till this Via vehicle is off the site. I'm not going to drive my car. I have until 8 a.m. in the morning, and at 8 a.m. in the morning, I can pay for 10 hours of parking here. Am I a dick for doing that? In a way, yes. But when it comes to holding your public servants accountable, when they make threats and when they do things that are not reasonable, and you just cave, then, you let them get away with it time and time again. And Via, again, has been warned about this multiple times. The same with their fire zones over here. And they go, well, we won't cite public drivers. We won't cite drivers in public vehicles for parking where they're not supposed to park. However, they would have come out here and towed my vehicle away if I was unlawfully parked, because this driver doesn't like where I'm parked. So are they going to cite this guy for parking illegally?
Yeah. So here's the deal. The operator is with the vehicle. Okay.
So he's standing. Exactly. He is standing.
You know the difference between parking and standing.
I do.
So if they parked and they left, then yes, all day long, tow it.
I understand that. They do that all the time, and I brought that up. The same with you guys have VIA vehicles that park over here that are not bus, and I brought it up to Officer Almanz. I actually showed him the city code. They say, well, they work for VIA, so they can park in the bus lane. I'm like, no, the city ordinance, and I believe it's 519, 574, but I don't want to. I mean, I emailed it to him, and I said, no, the definition of what can park there does not include your maintenance vehicles, but you won't cite them. This guy, he's standing. I agree with you. You're right.
Let me double check with the one behind it. And if that's the case,
He's also standing. He hasn't left the vehicle. I mean,
okay.
no, the guy behind. And again, when I do this all the time. But again, the drivers do park here. They get out of their vehicle. They go down the street, which they cannot do. But when I report it, nothing happens. So again, I'm not. Like I said, my issue with this guy is his physical threat to hit me with his bus. Now, he can say, no, I said I would hit his vehicle if he didn't move it, or however he phrased it. He probably phrased it in a much nicer, but you know, he didn't open his door. I hear what he's saying. He's honking at me, giving me the bird, being disrespectful, and I'm also agitated. You, Officer Abbott, you know me. You know how disrespectful I can be if someone's disrespectful to me. So you pretty much know what I told him. But again, my point is, I'm not moving my vehicle till he leaves. As soon as he backs up and leaves, I'll move my vehicle and you guys can park here all night like you normally do. But just the fact that I wasn't even parked here, I walked by and filmed the sign and documented he's parked here. I'm going to wait to see if he gets out of his vehicle. And he starts, you know, honking at me. You better move or I'm going to run you over. I mean, that's inappropriate. So I appreciate you guys being cool with me. Like I said, I've got till 8 a.m. in the morning, and I've got about $60 in change in my glove box. So I'll feed this meter all day tomorrow if he wants to sit there. He won't. He's going to clear out.
Is there anything else I can do for you?
No, nothing for me. Again, what was exactly the call for? Because I'm confused.
The call was that there was a vehicle that pulled in front of the bus and backed it. And there was a gentleman.
Okay.
I kind of knew who it was.
I got you. You guys know I film. And again, do you understand my concern when people call and say, a guy's filming, so we need a police response? How I'm like, hey, that's why I try to be polite and professional with you guys, you know, on other things. But, I mean, I'm not going to back down from my rights. I've got court in, you know, a week. I'll win those court cases. Until then, I'm going to keep doing what I do. Officer Abbott, thank you for coming out. That is you, right?
Yeah,
my vision's really bad, so I thought I recognized you.
My brother.
Oh, your brother works out here too? Okay. Well, does he look like you?
Just the same.
Oh,
He's
man.
A bit taller and a little bit more bigger.
Okay. Well, either way, if I see him, I might confuse him for you, but I mean, yeah.
Charger, you know.
Well, I'm gonna point my camera that you know, I mean, I know you don't care, but it's, you know me. Like I said, you know, you guys didn't know for whatever, but I'm a disabled vet too. I'm not out disrespecting police, but I do stand up for my rights. And again, drivers who pull this, they do this all the time. And it's like, hey, call the police. If you're mad at me for parking where I'm legally allowed to park and you're going to insult me and threaten me, your supervisor needs to be aware of it. So the supervisor's going to take a report, or he's done too.
He's actually going to talk to his guys.
Okay, that's fine. So it's T221. He'll talk to his driver. Hopefully he'll let his driver know that filming in public is not a crime, and it does not deserve being threatened with violence. Your driver should never threaten to run someone over because they're filming. That should never happen. I was strong with that supervisor, but he needs to get that across to him.
Say day or night, it's not enforced officer.
That I do know.
And so, either way, guys, in a few minutes, this bus will leave here. I do not believe there's no probable cause to detain me. I'm not detained, correct? Okay, no, I just want to make sure my viewers, they're watching because, you know, I mean, hey, I got arrested 2 times in the last 2 weeks.
I understand.
And, you know, my viewers were like, okay, we need to put up bail or, you know, whatever. So they're you know, they're going, hey, are they going to get this guy on a bogus charge again? Appreciate you guys being polite, friendly.
You got anything else for me?
I'm good. Like I said, as long as he knows I can park here, And
Well,
in the future again, if they want to call you guys out here, they can call you out every time. I'm not the one calling you. I'm not the one creating the situation. If your driver feels whatever he wants to do, that's on him. I can't change that.
All right, Mr. Reese. Well,
Okay.
good night, all right?
Thank you again, Officer Rawlings. So, again, I see there are people in live chat. You know, I don't do what I do to get arrested or to cause a scene or to be a dick, but I do decide I'm going to be a dick when I need to be a dick. And this is a case that, you know, when the driver starts threatening me for just walking in front of his bus because he's unlawfully parked, saying I can run you over, you know, yeah, you're parked, quote unquote. He's not parked, he's standing. The no parking anytime, it's 24 hours. And it is enforceable. They will choose to never enforce that. They will choose to never ticket a vehicle that works for the city. I've dealt with this before. Their trucks park over here and do the same thing. Look right now where this vehicle, this VIA supervisor, is unlawfully parked. He is blocking this fire hydrant. Hey, Officer Rawlings, if I wanted to be a real prick, I'd tell you he's blocking a fire hydrant. I'm not going to do that. He's here. He can move the vehicle if he wants. But again, these are the types of things that officers will arrest citizens for, but VIA employees park in front of fire hydrants and fire lanes all the time. And again, he is not in the vehicle. I cut him some slack. He's doing his job. But I am documenting that vehicle is blocking that fire hydrant. And again, when I say, you know, they cut them slack, they do whatever, they won't cite them. They're public servants, we won't give them shit. You know, if I parked up in front of that fire hydrant, see this parking meter right here? If you park and you're within 15 feet of that, say you have a long vehicle and you're within 15 feet of that fire hydrant, doesn't matter if you're legally parked in the parking spot. If you're within 15 feet of that fire hydrant, you are in violation of the law. So right here is as far as your vehicle can go if you legally park with this parking meter. Any closer than that, I would actually say right here where the water pump is would be 15 feet, but you know, you can always come out and pull out a tape measure if you want to do that. I'll wait to finish talking to the VIA supervisor. Make sure I pick up my cigarette butt so I am not littering. And again, you know, they call you out and say, oh, he's blocking me and he did this, he did that. Yeah, I did do what I did. Nothing wrong with what I did. So he'll tell his bus behind him to back up, and this guy will back up and move out of my way. And once he backs up, moves out of my way, my point has been proven. I do not have to move. I'm legally parked. This bus is the one who's in violation, not me. He's standing, not parking at this time. But again, they always get out of their vehicle and go use the restroom here or get out and smoke. He hasn't done that in my presence. But again, that's why I came up here and I was documenting it originally, so that if he did, it would be documented. He is parking and he has left his vehicle unattended. And again, difference between parking and standing, Officer Rawlings is like, well, you do know the difference. I'm like, you're darn straight I know the difference. Trust me, I know the law a lot better than most police officers. But again, you know, this is just one of those things. That other bus, yeah, sure. It's an inconvenience. He's backing up. This prick in 536 will have to back up and go around me. And after they do that, I'll happily move my vehicle. But the next time I come out here and they're doing the same thing, I will engage in the same behavior because they do not respect the public parking meters. Just like where that bus is parked back there, he's blocked off 3 public parking meters. Anyone can park there at night, so we're going to cut them slack on that. During the daytime, they block off that public parking, so people who want to park on this public street cannot use those meters. And again, if they don't want these meters out here to generate revenue, that's fine. There you go. 536 is now admitting defeat, and he'll be leaving. He'll be having a good day on his way the fuck out of here. So, he may not like it, but that is what the facts are. Yes, sir. Can I speak with you for a minute?
Yes. Give me 2 moments here. I'm gonna get some information from the operator.
Okay, thank you. So the Via Transit Supervisor in T221, that's 1431257, is going to speak with his bus driver, then he'll come speak with me. And again, like I said, I'm not moving until this bus clears out. Someone threatens me with physical violence, threatens to damage my vehicle or myself, because I was standing between the vehicle at the time. And he tells the cop, I didn't threaten him that way. I just said I may hit his vehicle. We all know that's not what he said. Unfortunately, that doesn't matter. I mean, it really doesn't. VA will review their camera. They'll listen to his audio inside, if they have audio inside the bus. Typically, every time I've asked for surveillance from VIA, inside buses or whatever, they say, our video shows the license plate in front of the thing. We can't edit it, so we can't show it. It's my car. But they'll still use the same exemption. 552 rules in Texas are designed to protect the government from having to release stuff like that. But again, as I told Officer Abbott, I said earlier on my live feed, Officer Abbott's the guy that I strongly verbally chastised right across the road right over there one night when I was waiting for my bus, and he was giving me grief, and I'm like, look at the sign, and he didn't want to listen to me, and he kept talking and barking orders, and my bus pulled up, and I was like, no, fuck you, I'm catching this bus, you can suck my dick, or whatever I said that was inappropriate is what I said to him. And then I was over on the sidewalk about 3 weeks later, and he's like, you need to leave, and I told him, you can S my D or whatever. I'm on a public sidewalk, F off. Now, after that, we spoke a few times. He's also a veteran. We talked. His service, my service, I'm much older than he is. But either way, me and Officer Abbott, we came to an understanding. And I'm like, I'm not out here to clown you, but you can't treat me in a way that's disrespectful. I'm a citizen just like everyone else. I demand the same respect that you demand. Just because you're wearing a badge does not mean you get extra respect. And so after that, Officer Abbott, and we've gotten along all the time. He understands I do what I do. As a rights activist, yes, I can be a dick. He also understands that I certainly was not going to be verbally polite to a driver after he threatened me. And again, Officer Abbott knows firsthand, I will verbally abuse the hell out of you if you threaten me. It's part of the game. It's what I do. So at this point, Officer Rawlings came out, and again, I'm glad it was Officer Rawlings who came out, because another officer would have started saying, you need to move, you're unlawfully parked, blah, blah, blah. Even though I'm not unlawfully parked, this meter is from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. After that, it's free parking in this spot until past that sign. And again, VIA is going to continue to have this issue down here as long as their drivers block these parking spots where I can come down here and walk on the public sidewalk. Earlier I parked all the way back where that other bus is and walked up here because there was no need for me to block this guy in. But once he became a dick, I'm like, okay, you think that's funny? Watch this. I'll park right in front of you, back right up to the sign. And again, the sign is right here. And you can see I've got a foot in front of the sign, maybe 18 inches. So I'm legally parked.
How's it going? Good afternoon.
I'm doing good. What's your name?
Daniel Gonzalez, supervisor with VIA, sir.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Gonzalez. You understand what happened here, right?
Yes,
Okay. So your drivers, they park here all the time. He's standing. He did not break the law. Most of the time, your drivers get out, they go over to use the restroom, do other things. I brought this up with them before. I was not even parked here when your driver started threatening me. Okay, I don't appreciate being threatened. I don't like being threatened. I was parked down the street. I walked up here. I simply documented the no parking sign, where he was, his bus number, and I stepped in front of the bus. He was standing with his hazards like he is now. He was behind the wheel, and I started recording the license plate, and he started honking at me, giving me rude hand gestures, and told me, if you don't move, I'll run you over. That's inappropriate. He may not like me filming. He may not understand what the law is about filming. He will now. But it does not justify his actions. When I told him, I said, if you don't like what I'm doing, you call the police. They're right there. They know I'm allowed to do what I'm doing. I'm documenting a problem with VIA that happens all the time. Your drivers park, not your bus drivers, your maintenance people park in the bus lane. They're not authorized to park in that bus lane. The city ordinance very specifically states it's for buses, which include not just your buses, but other commercial buses. But it does not include vehicles like yours. They park there all the time. VIA police says, we're not going to cite them. They're VIA employees. That's okay. But I'm going to document it. I'm going to turn it in. This is what I do. I turn in these videos to your supervisors. They look at them. They don't do anything about it. I don't care. I still do it because I'm a rights activist. But when the guy threatens me, I'm going to go, okay, I'm going to escalate this. So what I did, I pulled my vehicle up, and I know it upset him. I tell you flat out, I did it intentionally to upset him. I parked where I'm legally allowed to park, and I backed all the way up to within 18 inches of where I can park. And he's honking at me, throwing me the bird. He's yelling, I'm going to run you over when I get out of my vehicle. I'm standing between him, his vehicle, which was parked up here. You saw how close he was earlier, and my vehicle. And he says, I'm going to run you over if you don't move. He tells the officer, he said, I told him I may hit his vehicle trying to pull out. You know what? That's not an acceptable thing to tell anyone. If you think you're going to hit a vehicle, you should have backed up. And if he didn't think he had enough space between him and that other bus to back up, he should have got out of his vehicle, backed up, walked over to the other driver and said, hey, this guy's going to be a dick, back up so I can back up and go around him. He chose not to do that. What he chose to do was call the police, make a lie of a report, tell him I did other things or whatever. Fortunately, the police know I videotape everything for a reason, because I've had VIA employees lie and then get fired because it's on camera. So what my question here is are your drivers ever going to stop parking here? He wasn't parking, he's standing. Okay, we both understand that. But your drivers stop here, they get out of their vehicle, at which point it is parking. They go, they walk down and use the restroom. They step outside of their vehicle, they smoke here. I've at least 18 videos showing that, okay? What you guys can do is petition the city to remove this no parking sign. If the city doesn't want to remove it, then you guys should respect that, because just like citizens, I don't drive in bus-only lanes because that's protection for the citizens, your drivers, everyone else. But your bus drivers, this guy here, his complete attitude about, if you don't move, I'm going to hit you. Guess what? I know and you know he wasn't going to hit me. He's not going to lose his job over hitting my vehicle. But I'm the type of guy who says, go ahead and hit my vehicle. I got nothing but time to sue VIA. I mean, I haven't sued you guys. I've got 8 things I could sue you guys on. Your employees have lied to the police. This guy right here, when I go and pull the police tape and the radio traffic on it, 3708, lying on a police investigation. If he made one lie to the police officer, I'll have them prosecute him for that. It's a Class B misdemeanor. You know why? Because when he does that and the police come out and arrest me for something I didn't do, the police aren't liable. Your driver is for lying to the police.
What we did, sir, I went ahead and we moved the bus back. I moved the bus back. And he has to stage there. He's needed for reserves. That's the purpose of this bus being staged here. So I said, as long as you know there's no confrontations with each other. If anything like that, if you're gonna sort of call dispatch.
Okay, so I understand he's staging here, and this happens all the time. And I understand you guys feel this is where you need to stage. This sign, it needs to go away. That's something VIA, not me, VIA needs to take up with the city, Center City Downtown Operations. They control parking, they control that sign. You guys need to tell them, look guys, can we zone this for buses only? That would be the appropriate thing to do so that your buses can use it and other people can't. But the other bus behind him now, guess where that bus is at right now and where it was even before he pulled here. He's blocking public parking for people who have these meters. Right now, it doesn't matter to me because it's free parking for anyone. And as far as I'm concerned, anyone includes a public bus. But during the daytime when they block off these public sites and I say, well, I can technically park in this lot right up here, but they don't have no trespassing signs, but VIA says this is our private property. So I have to park where these meters are. I have to do that, but your buses block that. So that's why I'm saying, if you guys need this area to stage, I understand that. But just like every citizen who doesn't like a problem with the city like this sign, you got to do what's right, which means VIA needs to go down to CCDO and say, hey guys, this is our property now. You do know this is VIA property, right? This is our property. That sign was put there a long time ago to protect Scooby, but we don't want that sign there anymore. But if they remove it and don't mark it as a bus lane only, and I decide to park up here, your bus can't come up there later and say, this is our staging area, because it's not reserved for your bus. This is a public road. It's a no parking anyway, anytime. That's 24/7. It is a tollway zone. And again, I understand he's staging. I understand the intent. What I do not understand is how VIA, even after they've known about this for over a year, says, well, we don't have to do it because it's no big deal. It will become a big deal when your drivers start calling the police every time I come out here, because trust me, like I told the officer, I got $90 in change. I can feed this meter from 8 in the morning till 6 p.m. every day just to harass your bus drivers. Do I need to do that? No. All I need to do is say, hey guys, look, I understand you're staging here, but if you leave your bus here, you are parking, you're violating the law. A citizen would be fined for it. You don't. VIA police will not cite you guys. They say, oh, they just get it dismissed. That's not right. If your driver knows he shouldn't park, I'm staging, okay, stay with your bus. Once he gets out of that bus, he's no longer staging. He's parked the vehicle. Do you understand where I'm coming from on that?
Yes,
I appreciate it. I know I'm ranting. You'll put that in your report. At this point, I'm going to stay right where I am until that bus leaves. It's a matter of principle. I'm not trying to be a jerk. I'm not going to back up into the same area where he is, even though I could back up right where he is now, because I would only be quote unquote standing, just like he's saying. That would be a total dickhead thing to do. There's no reason for me to do that. I proved my point. I'm legally parked where I'm allowed to park. Your driver threatening me, inappropriate. He may not, tomorrow, he'll calm down and go, yeah, that guy got under my skin because he's filming me. I overreacted. That's fine. People will calm down after that. But my issue isn't about what happened tonight. It's about this happens every single day, every single night. I've had bus drivers before. When I pull up here, you see where you're parked, and I brought this up to the officer. Where you're parked is in front of that fire hydrant. Okay? The meter right in front of this one, you only have 15 feet from that fire hydrant. Your bus is pulled forward, and I'm backing up, and they start honking at me nasty, and I'm like, I'm parking legally. I have to be 15 feet from the fire hydrant. If your bus pulls forward too far, I can't park legally. And so your bus drivers get nasty, and I say, no, I'm not going to get cited for parking next to a fire hydrant. You need to back your bus up. The 2 times that I brought that up with the drivers, they were rational. I see what you're saying, I'll back up. I said, hey, this is why I'm not trying to be a dick to you, but this is a parking spot. I'm parking here for a reason.
And I'm gonna take a photo, sir. That way, it's a good photo with the vehicle that's here. And I'll try to get the meter and this sign as well. That way I turn it into the safety department and see what
That's no problem. And you know, some people, and I don't care. I'm in public. I'm a First Amendment's right guy. You can take a picture of my plate. There's nothing unlawful about that. Some other people will be like, oh no, don't take a picture of my car. That's not the way I am. I'm a First Amendment guy. You can take a picture of that. You can take a picture of me. But yeah, document it. Show them what's on your report. And again, I understand he's staging. When after this driver leaves, 5:36, I'm going to be out of here. But if your drivers continue to do this, I'm going to be back. And I'm going to be back. And I'm going to be back. Just like when they parked in the fire lane, and I told them for 4 months. And when I went down to the VIA board, and I said, you guys keep doing this. Your officers keep saying we're not going to cite our people for parking in a fire lane. Well, they're VIA employees. I said, what do you think the fire lane's for? Do you think it's everyone except VIA employees? It's for public safety. So.
And I'll take another photo of that. Do you want to, give me your information? That way they can contact you if they need to.
They can contact me. I'll give you my information.
What is your name, sir?
It's Tory Reese, Tory. Give me just a second. I'm going to shut down my live stream.
Okay.
So, Tory.